Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Today I just want to talk about a film titled The Crash. This is from 2017. It's currently available on Tubi.com, a free instant streaming platform. And the title of the film pretty much gives it away as to what the film is about. Okay, it's talking about the crash of the financial markets, the banks here in the United States. Features some major celebrities if you're into that sort of thing. And I think it's predictive programming for what we're soon about to see here in America, and probably a global financial collapse that will make way for the rise of this new digital banking system, this new central bank digital currency, which will be governed by the global government of the Antichrist. We see in Revelation 13 that no one will be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark in their hand or their forehead. And so we know there's going to be a one world currency, and I believe that they have to first collapse the economy before they do so. And here we see it says it takes a criminal to catch a criminal, and it shows all of the banking systems, the markets, the stocks come crashing down with these little arrows pointing downwards. And it's interesting that in the negative space you also have the letter M. You have two letter M's, or possibly three depending on how you look at it, but some very distinct letter M's, probably referring to the Masons who are running the show, who are running the circus. Here we see one letter M in the negative white space right there, and another letter M also in the negative white space. And of course, if you turn M and M sideways, it's actually the number 33, which again is the Freemason number. Okay, you could reach 33 degrees of Freemasonry. Now, I'm going to play some video clips, but first I want to give an overview of what the movie is about and the symbolism encoded within the movie. And so here we see this guy is like the main character, and his name is Guy Clifton, and I believe this is supposed to represent like the Guy Fawkes sort of revolutionists who seek to bring down the system, because ultimately he is the one who hacks the banking system and then later does a cyber attack to bring down the stock markets and to collapse the system. So you have the Guy Fawkes character here, and then on the top right you have this woman who worked for the White House named Schwab. Her last name is Schwab, and she is the first one to see that this cyber attack is coming. And it's very interesting to note that her name is Schwab, and she's seen a cyber attack coming, just like we see with Klaus Schwab, who's been warning about a cyber pandemic, a cyber attack, which will take down the U.S. and the major systems that control our society. So we have Guy Fawkes and Klaus Schwab, and then we also have this major banker on the bottom left, who is actually the one who's trying to create this dip in the stock market so that they could, basically make the banks richer and to take away the people's money and to consolidate into these bigger banks by dropping the stock markets and then buying a bunch of stocks up. And so those are basically the major players in the film. And so I'm going to go over some clips here on how this is talking about the destruction of the United States and this cyber attack that is looming above our heads, which will bring down the system. Okay, now in this movie scene, we're going to see that the cyber attacks take down the U.S. stock markets and the big banks, and this brings chaos and anarchy to the nation. Now, one more thing to note before I play the clip, okay? When the stock markets are hijacked and the banking systems are hacked, okay, the president is reading a book to a bunch of children. Where have we seen that before? Well, obviously, we saw that with the first 9/11 attack in 2001, when George Bush was reading iPad 2 and the Twin Towers were taken down. Well, in this scene, you're going to see that she's reading a book, and previously in the movie it talks about this book being about a fox and some other nonsense, okay? And what's interesting to note is fox in gematria is 666. Okay, so we got a 666 fox book, being read out loud at the same time that they destroy the economy and the banking system and freezes everybody's accounts. Now, we've seen a little bit of this back in 2023 and 2024 in the beginning of the year, if I'm not mistaken, when some of the banks were failing and some of the accounts were frozen. There's also some possible cyber attacks which have taken place where people were not allowed to take out their money. They weren't allowed to use the ATMs. And so just like Klaus Schwab predicted, we're seeing it come to pass, and that's because I believe they're telling us their plans in movies and by the mouth of the World Economic Forum leader, Mr. Schwab, and they're going to be seen as the heroes who bring order out of chaos and to stop these rogue hackers, which are probably funded by the Luciferian elite in the shadows. And that's what this movie is the big bankers are actually having a private hacker destroy the banking system using this special hack.
And the fox went hop, hop, hop through the garden, across the riverbed, into the large hedge where he found a most mysterious object. Now, this object wasn't anything the fox could describe with his little fox voice. Now, let it just...
Good morning, everyone.
Mr. Grillstein, these are your headphones to listen in on the chatter at the Clifton House. And I'll be monitoring all the markets right here.
Thank you very much. Sarah resigned this morning.
Why? Why is that?
She said the system is fucked. She sounded frightened. And she just hung up. The markets have been attacked, Madam President.
All right. Excuse me, children. Which markets?
All of them, ma'am.
Just receiving word from inside the New York Stock Exchange that all the screens are flashing a symbol. Now, nobody knows what to make of it. The market is literally frozen. Now, we assume whoever's behind the attack. A list of demands, I suppose?
Hey, what are you doing?
We'll meet you back at home.
Good. Yeah. Okay, good. Excuse me. Yes, I need Jeff on his secure line.
Now, from these numbers here that are coming in, it looks like, Madam President, people are beginning to withdraw their money from the banks.
Okay.
The market already is going to take a major dip. We don't want the banks to suffer any more than they have to.
We're now receiving isolated reports that people are withdrawing large quantities of money from ATMs, some even closing out.
The government won't address FDIC coverage rumors because they're saying it's not necessary. Everything's fine. We're on track. Maybe somebody over at the White House should watch the news.
Hey, Jeff, you need to brief her.
Yeah, it's a little
Listen.
late. Del Banco's got her in here.
It's all happening, just like I predicted.
Del Banco's lobbying for the banks to go dark, put a freeze on everything.
Jeff.
Gotta go.
Jeff and I both
I'll
agree.
recommend the president put a freeze on all banking activities.
Why?
Because your banks only hold 10% cash deposit at any given time. That'll run out in a matter of hours. We want the focus to be on the markets, not on bank vaults.
Hey, Chels, I still need the depletion numbers from Goldman. I don't have those yet.
Give me the numbers,
It's the fucking Treasury office. What do you mean they won't give them to
You're
you?
not the Treasury office.
All right, look, call me back in 5. I gotta get this. Aaron, what do you got?
It's about the European Union.
What?
They're freezing us out.
Les terroristes ont hacké le marché américain. L'Union européenne a bloqué tous les échanges internationaux.
I'm standing outside Parliament now, where the Prime Minister has called an emergency session to discuss the financial
Large
implications.
quantities of money from ATMs, some even closing out their entire account, fearing life savings could be plundered.
Flashing red! We're flashing red!
No, we need to reloop the NASDAQ server through yellow before you can boot.
Yeah.
Guy, listen to me.
I fucking told you, Schwab.
Guy, listen.
What?
Okay, so here we have the hacker guy, as in Guy Fawkes, you know, the V for Vendetta, the one who seeks to bring down the system, okay, is talking to Schwab, who has been warning about a cyber attack. And, Guy says to Schwab, I told you so, I told you it was going to happen. And here we see in the background the 33rd Street stairs. Okay, that I don't believe is a coincidence. This is a Masonic fingerprint, the 33. Okay, they're telling us that this is all part of a Masonic plan to collapse the system, as Klaus Schwab even wrote the book about the Great Reset and how they're resetting the system to bring forth this new world order, to bring forth a better system. Okay, and in Revelation 13 it talks about this Antichrist and his global government system, which will rule all nations.
They're running to banks, Guy. It wasn't supposed to happen this fast. It started here, then London, then Hong Kong. They're running our banks from every city in the world. It's like fucking dominoes. Are you close? Please tell me you're close. Guy.
Like close to what?
Okay, if you can pull the markets back online, we can call it a market glitch or an algorithm failure and calm everybody down.
You want me to save the bank, Schwab?
I'm not asking you to save the banks, Guy. I'm asking you to restore some faith in the system.
Okay, good. Trace the origin with this code 0010010.
I know what's at stake and we're working on it. I won't have to get back to you.
Well, come on. Guy!
We've just learned that all U.S. banks have been ordered closed until further notice.
Shit.
I can't even get on the
like most
website.
politicians. They believe they can just order it and
watch the
it'll
bank tell a
happen.
lot
Still,
of
the
front
people's
doors.
money
The
is
bank
being held.
doesn't close till 5.
They're not letting us
They
close
kicked
our
us all
accounts.
out.
Why won't they let us close our own accounts? Is there a law? Can you show me the law?
I'm going to need this room.
Thank you. Outside.
Madam President.
I'm a customer.
With everybody else.
I'm a customer.
What
are you doing?
No one really saw this coming.
Wait a second. I'm tracking this crash just fine, leading the people into panic. What I'm not tracking, in order to get these short sales to work, we got to get the market back up and functioning.
Right. We pull them back up online.
How do you get the markets back up online?
Oh, I don't.
Guy Clifton does.
And here we see that the people running the circus are saying that they're going to bring the stock market back online. But again, I believe this part of the plot or the narrative is actually not part of the Luciferian plan, but rather just to sort of divert the truth slightly from the masses. In the movie, this the head of the Federal Reserve, the ringleader over the circus, you know, the circus is the stage, the world circus, the clown show that basically is our political theater and the news and all of the stuff that is being played out. It's one big circus, one big madhouse. Okay, it's all written by the Luciferians and the Masons. And so the guys running the circus are saying that they're going to just dip the stock market so that people lose some of their stocks, and then they're going to have the big banks purchase all of the stocks so that all of the money is then transferred to the big banks. And it actually talks about like the 5 major banks, Bank of America, whatever it is, the top 5 banks in the US. And these banks right now have been undergoing these types of attacks where people are getting locked out of their accounts, where they could possibly go into bankruptcy because they don't have the funds. And so it's playing out before our eyes. Now, this is according to the movie plot, but again, I don't think that these big banks are going to receive this wealth transfer. I don't think they're going to be saved. I think the cyber attack is actually going to go through and destroy them, destroy the banks, and I believe that is part of the Great Reset plan by the globalist elite. And it's a bit of a convoluted story, but you're going to see that they're talking about the banks that were bailed out by the Federal Reserve. They are the ones who are under threat, and so they're going to get hacked. But according to the big bankers, they're just going to buy those stocks again when they're low so that there's a huge wealth transfer. But at the end of the movie, you're going to see that the hacker Guy Fawkes or Guy Clifton actually goes through with the hack, and it actually collapses the whole system. And I believe that is part of the plan, the real plan of the Great Reset. But let's take a look at this clip where it talks about this wealth transfer. Now remember, back in 2008, the big banks were bailed out by the Federal Reserve when the housing bubble popped. Okay, well, I don't think they're going to get bailed out again, and that's what this movie is saying, is that they can't bail them out again, so they're going to have to do this cyber attack internally, or hire this person to do the cyber attack. Then they'll do the wealth transfer by buying up all the stocks, and then that's how they will get, how these big banks will be saved. But at the end of the movie, the person who is the hacker actually goes through with the hack and doesn't restore the stock market, so it's just down forever. And so that's a very interesting twist, and that's probably close to what's actually going to happen. There's probably going to be a major cyber attack that takes down the whole U.S. banking system forever, until the global government comes in and takes over and creates a universal basic income and establishes this central bank digital currency, probably controlled by the World Economic Forum, and so on and so forth. But let's take a look at this movie clip just for some insight.
The markets are the target, right? Right. So why wouldn't the terrorists be playing the market? Okay, so I traced all the short sales from the 14th to the 16th. You know, the usual suspects came out. You know, you got China, you got Iran, you got... I got it. Okay, and I got nothing. Okay. And then I traced all the American companies. And I got all these portfolios owned and operated by the big boys. Hey, look at this. Take a look right there.
JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Assured Technologies, is that B of A? Commodities. All right, they all look like normal trends, though.
Yeah, they're sorting everything they can. You see that?
I know, but they're legit trading patterns. You know, one bank starts, they all
but not
following normal trends.
So why isn't Goldman Sachs there? Huh? Why isn't Goldman Sachs doing anything? Why? The banks were all bailed out by the Fed in 08 after the crash. But Goldman paid it back April 14th, 09. Okay? The only companies shorting on the day of the cyber attack are the companies that the Fed bailed out. And it has total control over their managing interests.
George, are you sure about this?
The Fed doesn't have controlling interest in Goldman Sachs and never did.
Holy shit. The Federal Reserve is orchestrating the largest insider trade of all time.
The banks work for the people, and I am here to ensure the people to continue their belief in the banks. I accept the President's nomination. I accept the post as 16th Chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Oh, I love it here, boys. Money, power, circus. Always wanted to be the ringleader. Here I am. Woo!
Mr. Del Banco.
Yes.
We've spoken amongst ourselves, and we can't loan the people any more money without some incentives.
The bank needs incentive to do their jobs.
You know, Wade, you gave us $800 billion. Maybe we start there.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Bill. We've been cut off. She ran her campaign on accountability. So no more blank checks to the banks.
We are the 5 largest investment banks in the Western Hemisphere. The Federal Reserve was created to serve our interests, not the current flavor of the week. Madam President will be...
Goldman Sachs doesn't come to these meetings anymore. So I'm looking at 4 of the 5 largest investment banks.
Richard, give us our money.
She wants to cut a check to the people instead.
The people are too stupid to know how to spend it.
Bill, we're on the same page. I took an oath to protect the financial system. And I'm sure as hell not gonna let the people control things.
Then what are we gonna do?
I've got a plan.
The Fed tipped off the banks 2 days before. You and the FBI knew about the threats. They're the ones behind the attack, man.
We lead the people to a point of complete panic. Then we rein it all back in.
So here we see that the big banker guy, the head of the Federal Reserve, says we're going to lead people into complete panic. People are going to sell their stocks, take out their money, and then these 5 big banks will buy back their stocks and everything will be put back on the system and they'll become rich again. And so that's how the Federal Reserve is going to bail out these big banks in the movie. But what actually happens is that the hacker guy, Guy Fawkes, actually goes through with the hack and does not restore the stock market. And it just, I assume that it just leads into long-term panic and destruction because nobody will have access to their money. Nobody will have any way to buy or sell until this New World Order system comes in as the saviors.
This is where the markets will be Monday morning, opening bell before the attack. These are the markets at the end of that day. Your banks sell your assets a couple of days before the attack at the peak up here, then buy them back down here for a fraction of the amount. Next day, the market rebounds, and all those stocks that you bought for nothing are worth, well, billions.
We've never had a Fed chairman like you.
No, you haven't.
But this is all possible.
The right man on the inside, anything's possible.
We're being sabotaged, Schwab.
Now, in this final scene of the movie, called The Crash from 2017, we see that the hacker guy, as in Guy Fawkes, he goes through with the hack and he tells Schwab, aka Klaus Schwab, or you might say Clown Schwab, that, he's going to go through with the hack and he's not going to restore the stock market. And it's going to completely destroy the system. It's going to reset the system. And it's going to lead to a new system. And that's exactly what they want. That's what the Luciferians want, is they want to bring in their new order out of chaos. So let's take a look at this final clip.
Hello?
You know, Schwab, you're not going to convince me that the system's just going to fix itself again. The banks and the Fed. Where did that money come from, Schwab? Whose money is that? We, the people, shouldn't be made up of you or me or the bankers that fucking control us. And don't tell me that I'm wrong, because up until today, I was one of those guys. Taking people's money and manipulating the system. I've owned that. I've owned it. The system does not work.
Your money is not safe in the banks. Don't keep more than what you need. If the banks get in trouble, they will take your money. The government will take your money.
We made realistic rules so that it could never happen again.
We do not have jurisdiction to directly go out and audit Reserve Bank activities.
Mr. DeBanco? Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Why do you meet here? Why with the circus?
This is where the stock market was created. Yeah, there are several theories, of course, but this is the one I subscribe to. It was a hot summer day in 1792, and four men sitting right over there created a marketplace whereby people like you and I could bet on a working class America through stocks and bonds. It was the greatest game ever invented. That's what they called it. And there were two clowns forming an operatic while they're being chased by a bear right there. And it was the clowns that gave them the idea.
The clowns had to outrun the bear.
Well, he didn't have to outrun the bear. He just had to outrun the other guy. Cheers to the American dream.
You have got to tell the people the truth, Schwab. You got to tell the truth. You got to do the right thing. Letting the banks get away with this, it's just not the right thing. You know why? Because our kids still need to live in this world. Do you understand? It's up to you. I really wish I could help you with this. I do. And I wish I could help you save the world. But I'm late for dinner.
Now, I don't want to get too much into the storyline, as I believe it's over-complicated, it's convoluted. But in the movie, this person, Guy Clifton, is actually hired by the government. He's one who hacked into the financial systems, but he's being hired by the government to try to restore or to save the people from this incoming cyber attack. But it's actually the head of the financial reserves who's actually doing the cyber attack with one of the teammates from Guy's team of hackers or programmers or coders. And so it's a huge complicated storyline. But essentially what happens is Guy is supposed to be working for the government to restore the stock markets, but he doesn't help them because he in the end wants to see the system crash, because he doesn't want these big bankers to be in power, and he actually wants a new system. And so this actually fulfills the plans of the Luciferians to bring in this great reset, and then everybody will be in bondage to the new system. So I hope that made sense. It's a super complicated storyline, but I'm trying to just, highlight certain parts of the film that will hopefully bring clarity to the agenda that's at play here. But anyhow, I pray that was helpful. And we don't know when this banking collapse will begin. We've already seen little bits and pieces of it in 2022 and 2023, when some of these banks had to close, and they're talking about bailing out the banks again, and how banks are, freezing all the time, probably because of cyber attacks. And so I believe the big financial cyber attack is coming to bring chaos and destruction in the United States. And this would probably come right at the time when everybody thinks it's all good. All of the Trump supporters think that they could just kick back and relax, that Trump is going to save America, the stocks are going up, it's this new golden dawn, and then boom, the Guy Fawkes hackers basically hack the system and destroy the stock market, and then chaos and anarchy erupts when nobody is expecting it. That's probably what's going to happen. In addition to civil war, maybe the assassination of Donald Trump, a nuclear destruction of America, as well as an EMP, and some other things are lined up as well to bring in this new world order system. Probably a disease outbreak as well, maybe a medical martial law. We'll just have to wait and see. But I do have a feeling that a financial collapse is one of those things. Anyhow, I pray this deco was helpful, and may the Lord bless you and keep you, and make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you, and may the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you shalom. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.